What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Plate Stack Chat. You had CrossFit Games returning to Instagram, you had Dave Castro returning to CrossFit HQ, and you've got me, Tom, at Chalking Fitness, returning to the Plate Stack. So, good things come in threes, and I'm really pleased to not only be back, which is a rare occasion, but I'm really pleased to be back with Sam at La Roche Original and Jason at CF. Hold on, Jason CF Media. So there we go. Doing the introduction as well. That's right, Con. I'm back.
I'm dying here. I am dying. This is brilliant. What's up, everyone? It's like embarrassing dad's arrived.
I believe that "What's up, everyone" is like my introduction to the podcast.
No, it is. I just haven't heard you introduce the Plate Stack Chat for so long. I've had to listen to Jason, and he's not well this week. So
I've not listened. I've not introduced any podcast recently. So,
well, look. So this is interesting. Yash is angry because we're late. He's correct. We are.
We were just talking behind the scenes.
Yeah, it was just all the things that people kept saying. Well, this can't go on the podcast, so we'll say it now.
Well, I'm happy to say anything.
I'm sorry, guys. You've missed honestly the best 10 minutes of the podcast.
We should do a Patreon and just put it on there.
Yeah, and Claire is saying that Tom was just practicing his intro, which was
good,
more or less.
I appreciate it.
I've peaked though. I'm done. I never get past the 21 thrusters in Fran, to be honest, and I've just done the same.
I mean, that did feel like a concentration of energy from you, Tom, that I've not seen. Probably we could take the last 3 episodes you were on together, and there was more energy in those few moments just now than in those.
Wow, it's getting deep now, Jay. It's all right. Let's not get too horrible today. He might not come back, and we won't get. Anyway, what are we talking about this week, boys?
Yeah. I'm gonna let's try and root cause why I might have more energy. I think obviously we've had the CrossFit Games, and I mean that is the highlight of the global calendar.
That's the Noble CrossFit Games. Just saying.
They're not paying me, so.
But it will advance the sport of CrossFit, because CrossFit is definitely a sport.
Okay.
Oh, I really wanted. Talking of good ideas that haven't happened, I wanted to queue up a clip. This is me being out of it again. I wanted to queue up a clip because we had a discussion last.
Don't even give me that. This Chase, isn't it? It's a Chase clip.
It's not Chase. Because last time we spoke about Chase, and you were like, Chase shouldn't have said that. So how much better was it to hear the new CEO of CrossFit?
Yeah, oh my god,
CrossFitters. And I thought finally we can put this discussion to bed.
Yeah, I might make up a new methodology. In fact, well, let's not start there. We'll finish there, I think. But Tom, give us more reasons why you're so infused.
Well, I think So like I was saying, obviously the CrossFit Games is a global kind of calendar highlight, but I definitely have that more. I'm more fanatical. I'm more appreciative of the kind of domestic sport, especially UK domestic sport. And coming up this weekend is a really exciting weekend, I think, for UK functional fitness, UK CrossFit, depending on the competition you're at, and that being that we've got both the European champs who are at a new venue this year, and then we've also got Battle for Middle Ground Trinity Wars as well. So it's an exciting time in Nottingham and Peterborough, and I'm sure there are many people that will never listen to this podcast that are kind of taking part over the coming weekend. So yeah, that's I think where my excitement comes, is I've been crunching numbers, looking and getting the more I invest in kind of looking at who's competing, the journey they've been on, the more excited I can get on, even though obviously I'm nowhere near stepping on that competition floor. So for me, that's perhaps where the energy comes from, is I think this is a UK calendar highlight, right? Like the Games is for the world, but definitely European champs and any Battle for Middle to Ground competition is always a highlight, I think, for the UK community. So that's my reasoning.
Well, I've got some exclusives 2 exclusives to be precise. But we're going with the hook and tease tonight. So we'll talk a little bit about other things first. So that's your hook, little bit of a tease. It might be movements, it might be equipment, it might even be workouts. Who knows?
Hook and tease, is that a new movement? Right.
What's
That's
that?
Adrian Bosman is going to
I was gonna
introduce
say,
that next year.
Let's be honest, after this year's CrossFit Games, who knows? That could be the new like max lift. Speaking of max lifts, if you haven't watched the new Jason CF Media video, then you probably should. So go check that out. If you haven't listened to the many thousands of podcasts that Tom Alla Chalking Fitness has put out over the last little while, go and check him out at Chalking Fitness. They're both on, well, in fact, Tom's YouTube channel has got some good reviews on it too. So if you haven't been on there for a little while, you do like shorts reviews and trainers reviews and stuff.
I haven't in a while, and don't expect.
No, you
any
haven't,
more
but
anytime soon.
the ones you have done are very good and have got lots.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Lots of stuff.
I also do good intros on Chalking Fitness.
That's up for debate.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Where do we want to start then? You did your hook and tackle, hook and tease.
Hook and tackle. You're going nowhere near my tackle, son. So we are. We're obviously talking about the European Championships and Battle for Middleweight. So Tom, it's been known that you can go wax lyrical about the European Championships this year because you've done a lot of the statistical work in the background.
Yeah, no, I think I mean, the first thing I mentioned, they're at a new venue this year. They've moved from kind of Five Lakes Resort down in Essex. I know for a long time that I think folk have wanted it to be a little bit more accessible to the rest of the country. And so they're now up at
what are you saying about Essex, bruv?
Never been.
Probably don't.
But no, they're up at the Motorpoint Arena in Nottingham. And, you know, I had a chat with Carl previously, and I know that this has been a big jump for them, 10,000 seater stadium. But one of the desires there is to try and get back to some of the kind of Coliseum style CrossFit functional fitness events we've seen in the past. Like I think Battle for London was the one. You know, kind of. I think that was in the Copper Box, right?
It's before my day.
But, you know, just that idea of that kind of like cauldron effect, that Colosseum effect of just, you know, really kind of trying to get that atmosphere that we know community go wild for the events. You know, if anyone was at CrossFit Strength and Depth in London, right, the seats were full. It was an amazing event, and I think, you know, they're making a jump there. They're setting a benchmark, and I really hope that it pays off this year, but in years to come as well. So I think that's going to be really cool. The other thing they're doing is they've got an off-site event on the first day. They're off at Home Pier Point, which is like, I think, the National Whitewater Centre. I think it'd be amazing if they're sending them down the Whitewater Rapids, to be honest. But I know they've announced the first workout as having a 2K trail run, a 2K kayak, a 200-meter swim, and then a 2K TBA. So I'm kind of confused.
That might be you just chuck them into the Whitewater, and if you come out at the end, you get to carry on with the competition.
Yeah. 2K float downstream.
If you don't, sucks to be you.
Yeah. So I'll be honest, I'm intrigued to see what that one comes out at, because obviously they've got the trail, they've got the swim, they've got the kayak. Kind of like what's left? I mean, I guess they could use kayak and paddleboard, which would be quite unusual to have two different waterborne vessels, but it would be a first, so that'll be interesting.
Chuck in the comments what you'd like to see. If there's something you'd love to see at the end of that workout. I'm thinking some sort of, I was going to say it's individual, so I was going to say piggyback race. For teams, I'd love a piggyback race. 2K piggyback.
To carry their kayak back. 2K. Just pick it up and do another 2K this time carrying it. That'll be...
Well, so if they're going to run 2K on the trail run, then jump in their kayak 2K away from where they started, get out of the kayak, do a 100-meter swim out, 100-meter swim back, and then run back with their kayak to the start so that the next people can use it.
Exactly. Someone's got to put it away. They're teaching CrossFitters to clean up after themselves.
There you go.
That's really important.
My question will be, how many people do you think will chalk up for that event?
For the swim.
Before the swim.
For the swim. You'll see it, they'll be like... Yeah.
My question is,
Maybe-
how many will try and cut a lap off because
Yeah.
they've learnt from the games?
Yeah, do you think
Maybe it'll
or
be
do you-
like a
Go
2K
on.
ski or something. You know, like I guess it depends on the logistics of relatively whether they can get like whether they can get Concept 2 stuff out there as well, right? But
boring. Claire's bursting my bubble already. Apparently, it's not at the end. It's the second modality, which is which is boring because it's not going to be running the kayak back, is it?
Might be running the kayak out.
Yeah, and then you have the kayak back, and then swim somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, what about like I don't know, like a husky race, like when they're mush, they're like that'd be cool, wouldn't it? Something like that. Yeah, I'm interested. I'm interested to know what it is.
But yeah, and that's the thing, and I do believe, if I remember correctly, that I mentioned day one's at Home Pier Point, which is near Nottingham National Whitewater Centre, and I think that day one spectators are free as well. So like, if you're wanting to kind of go down and check it out, you're in the area, then you can.
Where is it? It must be near Nottingham, I'd assume.
Yeah, it's on the outskirts of Nottingham.
Probably won't be doing that.
So
I could do. I'm on my way to Yorkshire, so I suppose that is it on the way? Is Nottingham on the way to Yorkshire?
Yes.
Then
Yes,
maybe it's
not-
possible.
Yeah. So and there's Claire said, is there a cycle course there? That's definitely a possibility. I guess, we know bikes is something that makes it into into kind of CrossFit events at the games, and I guess it would be a good mix on the modality that we've kind of already seen there. We've got kayak, we've got swim, we've got trail. It's a what's above a triathlon? So.
I would like to take the opportunity to point out that the European Championships is not a CrossFit event. It's not even a CrossFit licensed event.
Mm-hmm. No.
It happens to be put on by someone who runs a CrossFit gym.
Mm-hmm. But I do believe that they have, at least I haven't spoken to Carl recently, but when I did speak to him previously, they're having an affiliate lounge, and the CrossFit UK are there in some capacity. So they're not a licensed event, but that was my understanding. Is they were planning to have an affiliate lounge because the event has that type of space. Can't confirm it, but I know it was something they were looking at doing.
That's an interesting thing though. If it goes back to, I can see Jason smirking, or is it the drugs that he's taking kicking in?
Probably the drugs.
For those of you listening, Jason has like a version of vertigo, so he can't just can't Jason at the moment, which is a bit sucky for him, and he can't train, so he might lose his MyZone streak, but that's another story.
That's true. I can't afford.
Just put it on Harvey.
We could set up a GoFundMe for him.
Go fund my fitness.
Yeah.
I'll do 10 minutes of sit-ups for you.
Thanks.
No, actually, that's such a stupid. Why would I do 10 minutes of sit-ups? That's such a stupid thing to say.
Yeah, what I need is something that gets your heart rate in the red, so I'm earning more points for those 10 minutes. So
you've never seen how aggressively I do sit-ups.
True.
What we're saying, yeah. So it's interesting that it kind of goes back to what's the point in being a CrossFit licensed event. If you can not be a CrossFit licensed event, you just buy a big arena, put loads of people, put a $6,000 prize purse on it, and then have, I guess, what is CrossFit, a vendor? I don't know, because I was confused. I was confused reading their literature about.
They've got literature,
well, their website. So the
CrossFit or the European Championships?
European Champs.
I mean,
because their website and stuff. So you can you can buy a spectator ticket, but you can also go to their a la carte menu, venue, place, and stuff. And then they said, we've got an affiliate lounge. And I was like, that's cool, but what? For what? Obviously, well, because there's no functional fitness affiliates.
So I mean, we're not the police here, right? So
I'm not. I'm semi playing devil's advocate, right?
Yeah. And I think my
which I think is a fair thing to do. I don't think that's unfair.
Yeah, it is. It is. I think it is. It is fair, and I think one of the things to recognise here is again recognise the different arms of CrossFit brand. And so what we're talking about here is that the CrossFit affiliate arm, which the HQ, my understanding is the country offices sit under the affiliate arm of CrossFit, the brand, and they recognise that a lot of their affiliates, both the owners and their members, will be at that event. And so, in a sense, they are, going to somewhere where there will be a strong affinity with CrossFit affiliates. CrossFit, the sport, are the people that do the licensing of events, right? And there'll be some criteria. I've not seen the criteria. I'm not an affiliate owner. I'm not an event organizer. So I can imagine that there's a degree there where those two things can happen independently. I can see the idea, like if you're wanting people to pay for, to be a licensed event, that you might be like, well, that should come with some perks. But I also have a feeling that the affiliate branch and the games branch don't connect that well. Like they obviously connect, but it's not like all these kind of initiatives are perfectly integrated between the two, because we already know, and we could go off on a whole separate podcast about this, is that the needs of the games are very different to the needs of the affiliates.
Absolutely.
Well, here's another thought for you then, because another way to look at the affiliate gathering, or there being kind of an affiliate spot there, is if you set that up at something like, maybe there's a gathering of emergency services, so there's some big event where they're getting together, police, fire, and so on, and CrossFit think, well, you know what, we could have a presence there because these are the kind of people that we want to start doing CrossFit because we think it will benefit them. So it's a chance to advertise what you offer. So you could look at something like the European Championship and going, well, this is a big functional fitness event, and not everyone there is going to be an affiliate. And maybe this is an opportunity for us to be there representing CrossFit affiliates. And who knows, potentially there'll be somebody that maybe used to be an affiliate. Maybe they've just opened a functional fitness gym and they don't see the need to be an affiliate. But it's an opportunity to kind of show them maybe why being an affiliate is beneficial for their business. So you could look at it that way as well. That the event, the event is a functional fitness sporting event. That's one thing, but it's also for CrossFit affiliates or CrossFit UK, an opportunity to go somewhere where they think, oh, here's a target rich environment for people that could potentially join an affiliate or become an affiliate or whatever. So it could just be a good marketing strategy for them. The question of what is the benefit of being a CrossFit licensed event, that's a great question that I still am yet to get a decent answer to. Because I think beyond you being able to market your event as CrossFit, I don't see CrossFit marketing people's events for them very much. Does that make sense? So like, great that you can tag all your stuff CrossFit. But I don't even know how many people notice that when they're looking for an event. They're probably generally looking like geographic location. How far is it from where I need to go, or from how much do I need to travel to get there, and kind of is it a big event, a small event, what kind of people are going to be there, is it going to be my level or not, and then whether or not it's a licensed CrossFit event, unless it is part of a bigger picture like the road to the games. I don't know if they really how much that influences their prize purse. Maybe that could be more of an influence for many people. Well, maybe if they're good enough and they think they're going to get the prize, I suppose.
Agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I say, I think it's a fascinating debate. But I think it's TBC what the benefits are, in the for a specific event in the short term versus, say, a longer strategy, right? But I'm going to take us back to actually talking about the event rather than kind of that specific part. So I think it's cool that they've got like an off-site event. I think that's their first event last time was I think it was like they had paddle boards and things like that, right, and a trail run. So some to watch there who are competing this year. Crouchy, kind of came fourth in that first event, came sixth overall last year. So she's definitely one to watch on that. Amy Kringle won that event, and I think she got like 4 or 5 event wins through the weekend to win the overall. So I think she's due to be competing as well. Maria Jenkins from CrossFit Stone Towers, I think. So she was in a team at French Throwdown, but came second in that first event, and she came 7th overall. So kind of there be, I think, ones to watch. Moritis Newman from CrossFit Pembrokeshire. He won on the men's side and is competing again this year. Uldis Ulpennik, I can't say his surname. Jason, any look?
No, I don't have it in
But
front of me.
Sam will.
Uldix Ulpenidix.
Thank you. Third at Sid. Obviously went off to the games. He had qualified, but has taken looks like he's dropped off the roster now. So perhaps not surprising. So there's some return of the kind of like the top 10. Some of them doing very well in that first event. I was having a look at I thought more events had been released for this when I was like, let's talk about the events. But there's only kind of 2 individual WODs that they've released and 1 team WOD. But there's definitely kind of some returning to this year's event that did very well last year as well.
Just to take us back quickly to the CrossFit licensing and levels and stuff, I wondered if the CrossFit levels would fit in with this licensing of events. That's a wonder of mine too, Claire. And I believe Jason has a whole video on this on his YouTube channel.
Well, more on the fact that what's funny. So more on the fact that the Filthy 150 said they were going to use the levels, and then then a couple of people asked how, and they were like, "Yeah, we're working it all out, and we're going to get back to you very soon." And I believe until now, so I think a month passed, and then I did a video because I'd wanted to do a video about how they were going to use the levels, and then I waited, and then it was a video about why are we not hearing anything about the levels. And I think until now we still haven't heard anything. And then I did hear something unofficial, so I probably can't share that. But I don't.
Real media.
It just doesn't feel as easy as maybe. Well, I think as all the things we pointed out when we spoke about the levels quite some time ago about how difficult that would be to actually group people together by free workouts.
Yeah, and how demoralizing it was.
Yeah.
And how you don't really need a level, but that's just another. It doesn't matter. Let's be positive.
Yeah. Let me. Talking of positive, I want to give some specific shout outs for European champs. So
come on.
In generating some stats and having a look at kind of like the RX leaderboards specifically, I want to shout out Millie Goldspink from CrossFit Pontefract, because she won the intermediate last year and is stepping up to the RX for the first time. And I think that's
going to be some spicy meatballs for her this weekend.
Leah Hutchinson from Motion training down at Surbiton in London. She came 19th in intermediate last year and is jumping up to RX this year. I think her training, she was on the semi-finals team with Motion at SID. So I think she's been at Motion for a while. I've been fortunate to chat to her, and I know for both her and Dan Booser, who were on the team, had moved to Motion last year, are kind of going great guns since joining the community down there. So big shout out to both of them, stepping up to RX for the first time from intermediate. On the men's side, Tom Kingdom from CrossFit Southampton won intermediate last year and is he's kind of going RX, as is Adam Dobby from CrossFit Whitehorse CrossFit. Alex Mosley.
Sorry, say that again. Who was that other guy? What,
Adam Dobby?
Dobby. I thought I actually thought it was Dobby. It'll be epic if his name is actually Dobby.
Well, Dobie, I think. Yeah, Whitehorse CrossFit, Marlborough. He came 11th in intermediate last year, stepping up to RX. Alex Mosley is stepping up after coming 4th in intermediate last year. And then Harry Chambers from CrossFit La Ochra in Ireland, maybe. Excuse me if I've said that wrong. He was 9th in intermediate last year and qualified in 72nd, I think, for RX. So
I
yeah,
love the
a few
way that you
people-
say that, like 72nd, like it was 72nd. Like let's
No, it's 73rd in my database, but I've noticed that a lot of things seem to have like jumped up one or two places. So
Ooh.
perhaps there's been a little bit of editing.
fruitiness.
So yep.
I appreciate the accuracy, Tom, because I am going to be clipping these bits of the video to put in another video. So I really do appreciate it.
Excellent. You're
Yeah,
doing it now,
because
aren't you? Live
I'm
clips.
literally writing 24 minutes in.
Wow.
The final thing I wanted to say on European Champs, but I could obviously keep talking about it for a while, is they have released one of the team workouts as well. And I noticed that we've got synchro clean and jerk and synchro overhead squats at 60-40. So very similar to what we saw at the games in one of the team workouts as well. I think there's synchro bar muscle ups in there too, and synchro chest to bar. So yeah, a lot of synchro work going in. Kind of a few teams there. I'm quite excited to see. So that'll be cool.
Well, I would add then, if we are going to move on from the European Championships, I would just say obviously Big Bron is going to be there.
Well, that was going to be my question. I was waiting for that to be a question. I'm hoping that Big Bron's going to be there.
I messaged him. I asked, "Are you going to be there?" He said, "Yeah, he's going to be there." So
Yes,
that's something to look forward to. I'm really looking forward to see what Aylesbury can do on the teams, because obviously, you know, the disappointment that they had not getting to go to the games. It's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, 3 of the 4 returning to compete together on a team. So I think that will be interesting. And then,
do we know who their 4th is?
Yeah, Owen Jones from CrossFit Aylesbury affiliate owner, and a coach to many of them, so knows them well, but is stepping out on the floor with them. So that's going to be super exciting to follow along.
It will be interesting because I heard him screaming so much at Sid, like non-stop. So it will be interesting to see when he's being screamed at instead.
So, an interesting that this is for my humor me. This is for my own thoughts. There would be nothing stopping I may be wrong. There would be nothing stopping Mike competing at the European Champs. That's a question, not a. That's fact.
Oh, are we going back to this being a licensed event again?
No. It's a question. It's a genuine question. I mean, he can compete wherever he wants, right? As long as it's not within the CrossFit realm.
Well, I don't know. I know, for example, Ricky Garrard, there were a number of sports that he could not get involved in because they would just accept the sanctions put on by CrossFit.
So okay, that's interesting.
So
that's the conversation that I wanted to have, really, rather than it's actually like, is that a thing? Sorry. Like, it's not like, is this a CrossFit thing?
And actually, that's why Ricky waited out the 4 years and came back to CrossFit, because he couldn't do anything else. If some of those other sports had let him in, then he might not have bothered returning to CrossFit, because he could have been spending the last 3 years trying to get good at something else that he enjoyed doing. So that, there you go. Answer the question by looking at a different example. That's a nice diplomatic way of doing it, isn't it? There we go.
No, that's an interesting way of doing it. And do they? Again, another open question: do the European Championships drug test anybody? That's that again, a question, not an accusation or anything like that. I would. I'm making assumptions that they won't, because it's expensive.
Yeah, that would be my assumption, but I honestly don't know.
Yeah, I would be extremely surprised if they did, considering that they're having to, obviously, I mean, they don't have a live stream. Where would you spend your money? Would you have your money on a live stream or on drug testing? You'd assume at that level, you'd probably go for the live stream. But, I don't know. Maybe that's a question for Carl. Carl, if you're listening, let us know. Sam's volunteering if you need someone to
drug test people. What am I going to do? Like snog them and just taste it on my tongue or something? No. They're pop. Sorry.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this podcast, it's gone downhill rapidly, very quickly. Yeah. Anyway, I have lots of other questions about that, and it would have been great to have Carl. We sort of only really decided on this topic shortly a short time ago, so it would have been, and he probably wouldn't have been free anyway, but it would have been useful to have him on. The step up to a 10,000 seater stadium is big. I'm pretty sure Sid didn't even have 10,000 seats in it. So that'll be an interesting.
Which means that everyone can get a really good view, right? You know, it doesn't mean anyone's in the kind of like the gods.
I like
kind
your
of
optimism there, mate.
There we go. There we go.
I do, and I genuinely like it must have been a big, and this is where I kind of I've met Carl a few times. I wouldn't say I know him really well, but he must be in deep financially into this, because you don't. Well, they've already released next year at the same arena, so you would imagine. You would imagine. We've got some questions that I know the answer to, but we'll come to you in a minute. So, that was part of the 10 minutes previous to the show, the Patreon bit. But you would imagine that there's some cash gone into it, injected into it, and I imagine again selling tickets, selling half price qualifiers for next year tells me that there's possibly some cash flow that needs to go into this year that they maybe don't have. That, and again, that's pure speculation. And it sounds really down. Like, I genuinely wish the event amazing, because Carl is a great guy, and I think, as Claire is saying, Claire says, I absolutely love Carl. Love Carl has done this. Want an arena to grow over the next few years for the UK. Agree. I just hope that doing it this early, like, there must be something between the Essex, the arena, like the Five Lakes, and the 10,000 seat arena. Like, is there that's a question rather than an accusation. I'm just sort of trying to we don't need to create talking points. There's hundreds of them, but that, for me, in my mind, that's the question I'm asking as someone who puts on events or has put on events before.
Yeah, and I think, like, there's always that risk, right? And Carl, having spoken to Carl's talked about taking that risk, and it is like, you know, you said there, like, he's kind of like taking a big leap there. They've been comfortable at Five Lakes for a time, but he's passionate about trying to grow, you know, the European champs, and by association the kind of UK functional fitness and CrossFit scene on the competitive side. So, you know, I'm glad I echo your well wishes that it's successful, right? If folk want to have growth in the competitive sport within the UK, we've talked about this in the past with needing people to get behind like volunteers and judges. We've got that side. We've also got people willing to go to events, whether they be semi-finals or otherwise, pay to spectate, and then put money into the vendors' pockets as well. Because these things, you know, money makes the world go round, and I know that the methodology itself is well intentioned, free to open source, but actually, if you want like businesses to grow and kind of things to flourish, then actually that's what needs to happen. So unfortunately, I can't go. Yeah,
if you want CrossFit to grow, you need to buy Noble stuff.
Well, that's why I do. I just do whatever I'm told, right?
It's like a Dave Castro hat you're wearing there. Am I seeing that? You're in the dark, but I'm seeing that Castro hat.
Yeah. So it is. But speaking of which, look what arrived at the end of last week. My Waddable UK athlete support. Yeah, buddy.
Stuff. Well, I believe they're redoing that. So if you want to buy another one, Tom, which I'm sure you do, then go to the Waddable. We're not sponsored by Waddable at all, but I do happen to really love Lucy Campbell and the other guys that they're supporting. So go buy all of the supporter jerseys from them. Just going back to some,
you can buy, because you know what you can't buy is any athlete jerseys from Noble that have not been restocked. And somebody sent me a message today where they had reached out to Noble specifically requesting whether or not they were going to restock and they could buy the athlete jerseys, and they were sort of told, "Oh well, no, at the moment, no, we're not restocking, and we're not sure when we will, but we do have all of our other products you can buy."
I might put my Reebok hat back on.
But talking of athlete jerseys you can buy, this is like the kind of like advertising interlude we've gone into. You can buy the Defiant Co athlete jerseys and have whatever name you want on it. So that's pretty cool.
I buy a Tom Forder one.
Yeah.
I won't.
Well, I was. Who was it? Yash. In fact, Yash said to me, I should get one explaining how to say my name. So, like, not actually with my name on it. So, like, LAROSH, if you will, if you're from Essex. But yeah, going back, buy those. Whatable and Defiant Co.
Tenuous link, Defiant Co. Ethan Yates competing in a team at the European Champs, I believe, with CrossFit with them.
Is he?
Yeah.
Decent.
There we go.
Well, going back to the comments, Simba is saying unrealistic to try and fill a 10,000 seater, but then he goes on later to say it's a huge risk, but I hope it comes off. Other than TAG,
The Arnold Games.
The Arnold Games and Sid, I can't think of a crowd worthy talking about. Oh, I see. And then the overhead here must be massive. Sophie has said, who's emceeing? Well, clearly not you, not me, and I'm pretty sure not Simba either. I'm pretty sure Stella is doing it. In fact, I know that Stella is doing it. The other one that I'm unconfirmed about, I 99% sure that Gus is emceeing this weekend at the European Championships. I was like, what are we even talking about? That was weird.
We're not talking about anything. You're talking about something.
Sorry, big man. Where are we going back to? Sophie's gutted that she can't be there. She's on holiday. I don't know what. No, I won't put that one up. The athlete games.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'd say AFG for the Arnold Fitness Games. TAG is the athlete games, which it's been a few years since then. There's a Simba being an OG.
Yeah, an OG. Is Omar from Kuwait for Euros? Do we know about that, Tom?
Don't know. No, sorry.
I'm going to assume if he's from Kuwait, maybe not. Oh, that's an interesting question, actually. Are you excluded from the European Championships if you are not from Europe? That is a very interesting question.
I'd say it's Eurovision rules.
Eurovision rules apply. What so Australians are allowed in?
Hey, if Tia wants to turn up, do you think they're going to turn her away?
Could you imagine? She's just going to turn up for $6,000. It's just like not even an event win. He did Dubai on the mic. Omar. Oh, I see. Great guy.
I tell you what, though, talking of mics, you're not on the European Champs.
I'm
mic. Not. Which mic are you on this weekend?
You wouldn't know him. Hey, no, I am at so I'm at the other thing that we're talking about, which is the Battle for Middle Ground Trinity War. Thank you, Tom. I was not going to get there on my current trajectory, so you got me there. I'm with my main man Simba this weekend. He's on the mic. We are reunited on the microphone after the Defiant Games at Battle for Middle Ground Trinity War. And if you were listening at the beginning of the podcast, we've come a long way. The hook and the tease has come a long way. But I have
the payoff must be absolutely epic. Otherwise,
off the press. They shared Battle for Middle Ground shared a video the other day. It was one of their stories, and and there was a video of some people jumping into a swimming pool and running along the bottom holding some dumbbells. And I was like, haha, that's really funny. Well, about that. So Battle for Middle Ground. Because Hornsey, we've had Hornsey. We love him. We're a lover of Hornsey on the show. They have you guys ever, when you're in school, remember that far back? Maybe you can't. But when I was in school, we used to do this thing where they used to chuck those, those little men or the little sticks, and you'd dive to the bottom and you'd pick them up and you'd grab them out. Well, we're going one further than that about off middle ground. So they're dropping a weighted brick into the pool, and then your team must proceed to push said brick along the floor of the pool, which is pretty decent. Apparently, workout 1 has just been released. Said Simba. Oh no, that's not it.
Suddenly, we're not
someone
such
can
lovers
find
of Hornsey anymore.
No. Well, my question was, how are we judging that? We're going to give all the judges their waddable goggles, and they're going to all dive in and watch from underneath.
Yeah.
Schnorkel.
Well, I mean,
A snorkel.
I would assume if it's get it from point A to point B, it's as long as it stays under the water. If it gets to point B, then job done, right? Like
True that.
Yeah.
It's the type of event where you don't want people to go completely ham, though, right?
Because people are just
like-
going to die.
Well, if Ricky Garrard tried to do this event like he did at Torian, he wouldn't come up from the bottom, and then like someone would have to scoop him out with that net that they're normally kind of getting, poos with or something. So. But yeah, that's an interesting one. So, but remind me on Trinity Wars, is it same-sex teams of 3, right?
Same-sex trios, that is correct. Yeah, last year's winners female was Crouchy, Josie, and Emily.
Team 13.
Mm-hmm. Male, I don't know. They would, I think, to pass.
Yeah, well, I like this. Male, don't know. They're not my friends.
We're all about being unbiased here.
Yeah. Mate, I never said I was unbiased.
Slevin CrossFit were the winners of the Compete men last year.
Of course they were, yes, because the Slevin ladies came second last year.
So they are slightly Sam's friends. He doesn't like the men, but he's friends with the ladies from Slevin. So Clydesdale
No, I just remember it was an epic battle between the first and second battle was pretty epic last year.
Clydesdale Media have just come in at exactly the right time. So Scott's just asking what's up. We're talking about some local events that will be happening, European Championships and Trinity Wars. And Kat's come in asking, just joined, Pooh, what's happening? So what's happening, Kat? Tom's back and he's lowered the tone of this whole show.
Unbelievable.
To the bottom of the pool where athletes have to push a weighted brick along the floor. And I was suggesting that I just don't want to see any athletes going too ham and not prioritizing their breathing.
Yeah. Right.
I'm just trying to work out. They've just released the workout, but I can't see where it is. So we can not be able to talk about it if I can't see it.
Simba, what's the workout?
Yeah, Simba, post it. Sort it out. Why am I even here?
Yeah. 3 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Winners of Trinity Wars Throwdown. That was the other one called, right? The second tier, right?
Yeah.
Jennifer Muir from CrossFit Kirkintilloch was in the winning team. She won Ragnarok.
Yeah,
and
she
is
did.
competing in the RX division at European Champs this
Correct.
season. So just call me Rain Man.
Okay, Rain Man.
It's in the stories, apparently.
There we go.
Repeat of last
But where's Trinity Wars this weekend then? Is it something? Is it 2-day event or is it kind of compete on one day, throw day on the other?
Sorry, say that again. I'm trying to find. You're asking me a question. You're asking me a question, knowing that I'm trying to look it up on my phone.
Okay.
God, you keep going.
Thanks.
Yeah,
I'm
you keep going talking about the event that Sam knows everything about.
yeah,
Go on,
yeah.
Tom.
I was going
Well,
to say.
let me. I can give you the other. I can give you the other. There's another piece of equipment which everyone that is listening will obviously be googling straight away, but you won't find it because I couldn't find it either. Now, this thing, imagine they've gone sort of construction theme because we've got bricks. This year, imagine a wheelbarrow mated with a sled.
Right.
So a wheelbarrow.
So
sled.
all I can think when you're saying a
A
wheelbarrow
sled
mated with a sled is a sled.
That sounds like the alpaca or the llama
It's-
or whatever
yeah.
it was from the games. Was it the llama or the alpaca? I can't remember. To be honest, I can't tell the
so it
difference from them in real life
so,
either.
So this thing, so apparently this thing has got wheels on the front and has like skis on the back. What can be described as skis on the back? I don't get it. I just don't get it. The emu. Man, I can't keep up. I think I've caught whatever Jason's got. I can't.
You
I can't
keep
up today.
talking. We'll find the workout. It's not in Battle for Middle Ground, so maybe Hornsy's released it.
Yeah.
What's that? That is.
What is that workout one? So they're going to look for workout one. I'll just jump back to the comments for a little bit. Is that the one with Iron Man, Thor, Spider-Man, and Wolverine? I'm assuming that's in reference to Ragnarok.
Yeah,
Scott's on the ball today. If you haven't gone over and listened to the copious amounts of games coverage that Clydesdale media have put up, we're dropping the fitnessing friends part from Clydesdale now, everybody. It is now just Clydesdale media and then podcast, roundtable, or whatever it's going to be. I will... Trinity Wars. Yeah, interesting. Nice. I'll give something that somebody said to me, seeing as they're in the comments here, was that I was speaking to somebody about the games, and they told me that the best media team at the games was Clydesdale.
Who said that?
Somebody told me this who doesn't work for Clydesdale. It wasn't Kat. Kat didn't tell me that they were the best media team.
By the way, guys.
I mean, she did, but somebody else sent me that as a message. So I just thought, I'll put that out there. I can't say who it was, unfortunately, but well done, Clydesdale. Obviously, next year, PlayStack Chat will be there, and that will be the stiff competition they'll have. But until then,
asking all the serious questions.
Yeah,
is this licensed? Is this a licensed event? If someone pops, can they still compete? I found what I think is the workout. So it says, wait no more. This is for Battle for Middle Grounds. Workout 1 for the 2022's Trinity Ward North is the following: 10 underwater walks with handbag floor to shoulder. Movement standards. All reps must be completed with SAS and heels. Throwdown may use flats. Depth must be maintained at all times. Cheap handbags not accepted. Think Birkins, Chanel, and low puzzle bag will also be accepted. Correct shoulder must be used on the walk-off. 5 penalty burpees if incorrect. Don't handbag it. Oh my gosh. That's not actually true. Simba, are you in control of the social media tonight? Because if you are, oh, shocker.
Well, I'm glad everyone stuck around for 50 minutes to get that reveal at the end. That was
shocker.
If Clydesdale were coming to check us out to see whether we were worth working with, the answer is no. It was a lot better earlier.
Mate, they already know that. Come on.
Go back to the 24-minute mark was when I put down a note as a time code worth saving. So maybe go back there and just listen from that point on. and then stop when you hear
I've
the
just had a
mention of three.
message. I've just had a message from one of the organisers of Battle for Middle Ground saying, "I'm 5 minutes behind. We didn't release a workout tonight." So
Did Simba
someone
just
is
send us down
trolling
a
their
rabbit hole?
socials, and
think,
I'm
yeah.
going to say it was Simba.
Right.
So here's a good question for you. Like, obviously, European champs is individual. We've then got team of 4 as well there. But like, team of 3 is kind of like a bit more of an unusual one, right? You don't get that many events. I guess Waterpalooza is another one that has its 3s,
Waterpalooza
right?
was the one that I was thinking.
So,
Yes, you said that.
what is your favorite? I was going to say, I know it was like talking about the 3 of us. What is your favorite kind of type of functional fitness competition to watch? I was going to say
it's funny you should say that, because I don't know if you've seen on the socials today that Strength in Depth Origins has just posted up that they will, of course, be happening once again in January. And I think, I did that video about like Grid League and having more people on your team that kind of lets people come in, and kind of the closest thing we have to that is something like Strength in Depth, where you've got a mix of masters and, men, women, masters. It's like you kind of get the strength of your box is the whole point behind the name, right? I always think that's very interesting, just because it is different. Because teams of 6, teams of 3, teams of 4, you see similar things coming up. But when you've got a much bigger team with a variety of not abilities, but obviously across like 12 people, the strongest and the weakest, there's going to be a much bigger gap than between 4 people, right? You would assume. So I think it lets you kind of play with things a little bit more. And I had to plug that, obviously.
Yeah, that was huge, actually. That is so that's January 2023 date for the UK community's calendar. It's definitely another highlight. I think I keep saying that, but there are a few in there, and Sid Origins is definitely one of them. So, and then I agree. I think it's really exciting, not only from the increased participatory side, but equally you get to see some people flourish that perhaps wouldn't normally get the kind of spotlight on smaller teams or individually.
That being said, to answer your question in the kind of more traditional sense of teams, I do think a team of 4, 2 men, 2 women, gives you the most flexibility in being able to have people do things individually, to do things synchro, to do bigger movements like worms, but then also to have things like that are, as you see quite often, they're a pair of either male or male female, and it kind of gives you a lot to play with. Teams of 3, I always find that, especially if you start doing just like 3 people synchroing a movement, it's always a little bit more kind of for the judge to sort of be checking all 3 of them versus 2. I get obviously 4 is complicated as well, but I don't know. I still feel the teams of 3 are interesting, but just throwing that extra person and you can mix things up quite a lot more. You've got more variety, I would say.
I think that because I haven't said it yet, the CrossFit licensed event that is Battle for Middle Ground Trinity War, do it really well, actually, because they often put a burden on the 3rd person. So it's still 2 people working and 1 person having a burden. So, for example, last year they had a workout with a D-ball. So one was on the assault bike, one was on doing some box step overs, and the other one was holding a D-ball. Or I think that was the workout, maybe. It was something like that. But it meant that you weren't just standing there sort of recovering. You always had to be doing something, and obviously if you put that D-ball down, then your other team members had to stop and pick it up. So I think in terms of the synchro stuff, I agree, that's 3 is hard, but they still have worms. There's a 3-person worm. I think they are 80 and 100 maybe.
I think well, like 3 is fine, 4 is fine. When they were like the teams of 6, it starts to just get hard to follow unless it's something like Sid, where you've gone even bigger, but then you're not doing everything all together as it like it's designed to be kind of going in waves almost, or splitting the team. Quite often you'd have half take on the swim event and half take on another event. But I'm trying to think back to Waterpalooza. Was interesting to watch the teams of 3. and sort of see how well they did. It's always interesting, especially those kind of events, because something like Whatappalooza, you had teams of 3 that were made up of what would generally be 3 high-level individual athletes, and to sort of see them maybe not do as well as a team is always interesting.
Well,
teams are games. Oh.
It wasn't teams of 6 at CrossFest. Teams of 4 at Defiant Games.
Well, I was just going to wrap this up. While you guys were chatting, I was checking out what I hope is the roster for Trinity War this weekend. So, couple to watch definitely are a couple of teams to watch are in the Compete Mail team of 3. You've got Steve Fawcett and Jack Cornthwaite taking back to the floor with Sean Hardwick. I think that'll be pretty cool to see them get back after a busy season coaching. They can kind of get on the competition floor themselves. But actually, the other one that I don't know who the guys are, but there's a team called Lord Voldemort, Ron, and Harry. So actually, they're my team for the weekend at Trinity War.
So events like Trinity War and things like that are often just like a bit like the Grand National, where you have like just these cool names that people just decide to be, which I think is just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Yeah.
So. There's a few others in Throwdown. You've got the Geordie Pensioners. I think that's a great one.
That's what's his name? I don't know the people's names. I just know him as the crazy Geordie guy with the beard. So he's bald with a beard and a Geordie. He's the nicest bloke. He drives. I know loads about him. He drives haulage lorries and often spends time in Essex. So I said, when you're here, drop into Bearwarden CrossFit. He owns a gym up north. Oh, I can't. It's a CrossFit gym as well. It's actually affiliated.
Yeah. And now,
but names.
You can take all that information, put it into a search engine, and you'll find the name of this person.
Gone. Yeah. Just like
you get the idea.
Sled barrow that I've dropped for everybody.
Yeah. But that's another great thing I think about kind of like the local events is, you get that full spectrum, you get the funny kind of events. And at the end of the day, for 99.9% of people who are competing, it's, making sure it's fun is part of it. And having a name plaque with a funny name on it to take away. I believe the first competition I ever did, which was a pairs, our name card was Hold My Beer. And I think it still rings true to my approach to training on the whole. So that's kind of everything from me. I don't know if you boys have got anything else.
No, that's me signing out, I reckon. Have a great weekend, everybody. Obviously I'm wishing the whole week away, but this weekend's a big one for UK English competitions, should we say?
Yeah.
I suppose the European Championships is Europe, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. And if you can get behind those events, whether it be volunteering or spectating, it's that every role is important in helping to kind of it grow. So I hope good luck to those competing, but equally enjoy it if you're there spectating as well.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that Claire's asking if any of us are actually going. She's also said like brilliant show, welcome back Tom, which right, whatever Claire. And I would also say that I love that Claire's always in the comments. She's here pretty much every week. But at this point, I don't know how many times you join the show before you decide, maybe I'll just get my own YouTube account and stop using Connor's, and it will say Claire, and we'll know it's you. And then
because if you know Claire, you will know that she is the biggest technophobe there is, and actually probably doesn't have an idea on how to do that. I think that's a fair thing to say, Claire.
But then with that new account, she can go and subscribe to all of our channels and stuff again, and we all get an extra subscriber as well.
Yeah, never.
But yeah, thanks.
Get Neil to set you up an account, Claire, and then we'll get him to set himself up an account and you, and then you can go subscribe to all of our channels.
Yeah, both of you can. Wow, it's 2 extra subscribers, guys.
There you go.
Yeah. And to answer the question, unfortunately, I won't be at Euros as much as I've kind of chatted about them loads. I was hoping to, but I'm seeing friends that are back from New Zealand for the first time in a long time. So there we go.
Oh,
there was a chance I was going. It then probably wasn't going to happen, and at the moment I can't really even go in a car without getting incredibly motion sick straight away. So the idea of driving that far is it's just not going to happen at the moment. So
Have you tried handstand walking? Seeing if it's kind of like a, maybe you're less dizzy when on your hands.
Oh, do you know what's funny, Tom? Is that's exactly the same joke my 8-year-old son said to me today. So
there we go.
good to know the levels.
Yeah.
CrossFit levels. Right.
Oof.
It has been nice to be back. Thank you for accommodating my enthusiasm. So
Perfect. Well, I've been Sam. He's been Jason, and the other guy's been Tom. You might recognize him. Go check out Jason's CF Media at Chalk and Fitness, and check out the YouTube pages, all the other bits and bobs. Sign up to the Chalk and Fitness newsletter if you haven't already.
Don't. That's stopped now.
No.
Stop making extra work for me. My wife will hunt you down.
Yep. Okay. No worries. Well, thank you very much for dropping into the YouTube comments, guys, and we will hopefully see you again next week. Ciao, bye.
Bye-bye.